Two people stand in the same room. Same song begins to play. One person's body starts moving before a single word is spoken, as if a hidden version of themselves has been waiting for permission to come alive. The other stands perfectly still, composed, controlled, effortlessly normal. Psychology suggests that the difference between these two people isn't about dancing ability. It's about how two different versions of the self are constantly competing inside them. One self is the one you present to the world. The other only appears when you forget that anyone is watching. Today, we're exploring what dancing reveals about you, things you may not even realize about yourself. By the end of this video, you'll discover whether your own unseen self is truly free, or still trapped behind the version you show everyone else. Psychologist Csikszentmihalyi introduced the concept of flow state, a mental state where time disappears, self-criticism fades away, and only the experience itself remains. Spontaneous dancing is often one of the clearest examples of this state. Brain imaging studies suggest that during these moments, activity temporarily decreases in the frontal regions of the brain, areas responsible for self-monitoring, judging, and constantly asking, "Am I doing this right?" Scientists call this phenomenon transient hypofrontality. In simple terms, people who naturally begin dancing can temporarily quiet their inner critic. For others, that inner judge never truly falls silent. Psychologist Mark Snyder proposed the theory of self-monitoring. Some people are high self-monitors, constantly observe themselves from the outside, adjusting their behavior to fit every situation. Others are low self-monitors. They act more naturally according to their inner feelings, paying far less attention to how others perceive them. When music starts, low self-monitors often let go without much hesitation because the question, "What will people think?" simply carries less weight. For high self-monitors, however, every movement can feel like being evaluated. Social psychology describes a phenomenon known as deindividuation. When people become part of a large crowd, their awareness of their individual identity temporarily weakens. That's why someone who would never dance alone may suddenly find themselves dancing freely at a concert or festival. The crowd offers a temporary escape from the constant inner observer. It's a fascinating paradox. Sometimes people discover their most authentic selves only after losing awareness of themselves. The most surprising part hasn't even been revealed yet. The answer may be hidden in your own childhood. Imagine a child who repeatedly hears, "Be quiet. Don't do that. Stop embarrassing yourself." Over time, the nervous system learns that spontaneity is dangerous. As adults, we may forget those moments. Our bodies often don't. Psychologists refer to this idea as body memory, the notion that the body can preserve emotional patterns long after conscious memories have faded. So when someone hesitates to dance, it may not simply be shyness or laziness. It could be following an old survival rule their body learned years ago, a rule that no longer reflects who they truly are. Our brains contain specialized cells known as mirror neurons. These neurons activate not only when we perform an action ourselves, but also when we watch someone else perform it. That's why one person dancing often inspires others to join in. Dance rarely remains an individual experience. Motion spreads from one body to another, almost like a silent language everyone instinctively understands. What comes next may change the way you think about yourself. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, when was the last time you did something without caring whether anyone was watching? That moment is where your unseen self lives. It's the part of you that has always existed, the part you've learned to hide. Because many of us grow up believing that control equals safety and spontaneity equals risk. Perhaps the opposite is true. People who occasionally allow themselves to let go, through dancing, laughing, speaking freely, or simply being present, maintain a bridge to that hidden self. Those who never allow themselves that freedom slowly drift away from it, till one day they no longer remember who they once were. Dance isn't simply movement, it's a question. Am I still connected to the version of myself that exists beneath the mask? So let's return to the question we asked at the beginning. What is the person who dances really hiding? Perhaps the answer is nothing at all. For a brief moment, they've simply stopped hiding. Your inner critic falls silent. Your social mask disappears. Fear of other people's opinions fades into the background. What remains is the most authentic version of who they are. For those who don't dance, that same self still exists. It simply hasn't been given permission to step into the light. That's why this channel is called The Unseen Self, because we believe every person carries a hidden version of themselves, one they may never fully know. Dancing, laughing, crying, even silence. These are all pathways leading back to that unseen self. So here's one final question. When was the last time your unseen self came out? Share your answer in the comments. And if you're curious about the hidden psychology behind human behavior, subscribe to The Unseen Self. Every week, we explore what people unknowingly reveal beneath the surface.